Let's see if this works. All right. It says that I'm live. I don't know that I'm live. If you're watching this, leave a comment in the chat. At first, I tried to do this with Safari, but it didn't work. I think it only works with Chrome. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But I'm actually doing this in Firefox, and Firefox seems to work. So anyway, hopefully you can see me. And when people do live streams, it's always kind of, when they first start, it's always kind of awkward because not a lot of people are on. So they're doing their introduction without people even being there. But anyway, I wanted to just do a live chat and just check in with subscribers and people with regards to this whole COVID-19 and staying home and all this kind of stuff, see how you guys are all doing. It's certainly something that's unprecedented. Hi, I can see people chatting now, so it seems to be working. It seems, I never thought that we would see something like this in our lifetimes. So it's definitely really distressing and scary. And it's pretty much affecting everybody. So I hope everyone is staying healthy and safe out there, and definitely staying at home and not going out unless you absolutely have to go out. Because, well, the reasons why, not only for yourself, but also for others, because you could actually be a carrier of the virus and not have any symptoms. But, when you go out, you could be, infecting others. Here in California, just yesterday, they said that they want everyone to wear at least a cloth mask when they go outside in public now. And it wasn't that way for the last, 3 weeks or so. So they've only started to do that. And I actually found a link where you can actually make your own cloth mask out of like a bandana and either rubber bands or hair ties. After this live stream is done, when this turns into a video, I'll post that link in the description field. I feel like that's better than nothing, but having, an actual mask, like an N95 mask or something like that, is probably going to be good. Anyway, can you hear me okay? Is the volume level okay on my microphone? I know the video quality is not very good. The built-in web camera of Macs, especially my iMac, is only like 720p, but I guess that's fine for streaming. Webcams generally aren't really there quite yet, especially the built-in ones for Macs. So let me know how my audio is. I think I'm looking at the levels right here, and the audio is good. Oh, thanks. Chi-Town, California, thanks for that information about the audio. He says it's nice and clear. The microphone I'm using is the Electro Voice. I think it's the RE20. I've done a review of that many years ago on my channel. But yeah, it's a really good microphone for podcasting and stuff like that, and I figured I'd hook it up for the live stream. What have I been up to during the last few weeks of staying at home? I've been getting caught up on a lot of my TV shows. I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm the kind of person that buys a lot of books, either physical books or books on Kindle, and I just never have time to actually get through them. So I've been kind of getting through some of those. And I've been listening to a lot of music at home, naturally. Let's go through some of the stuff that I've been listening to, some of the media content. In terms of music, I've been really into the new Pearl Jam album. Let me launch Rune here. Hopefully it won't interfere with the audio stream. Hopefully it won't completely take over here in terms of the audio, but just so I can tell you what I've kind of been going through and some of the albums that I've been listening to lately in terms of new music that I've been enjoying. So yeah, the new Pearl Jam album called Gigatron is really good. Also, I have been listening to, it's pegging my CPU. Thought that would happen. I've also been listening to Hayley Williams from Paramore. She's got an album, or kind of an EP, that I've been listening to quite a bit. I did listen to the new Nine Inch Nails release. They've released that on their website as a free download, but it's also on the streaming services. It's Ghosts 5 and 6. I couldn't really get into it. I never really liked the Nine Inch Nails Ghost series because it's just pretty much very ambient, very instrumental. Just really couldn't get into it very much. Although if you're a fan of that type of music, you might like that. Alanis Morissette has a couple of new songs that I like. I think her album is going to be called Smiling, but it's not out yet. She just has a couple new songs. It's pretty good. There's one called Reasons I Drink, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty good song. She has a video on YouTube. You can check that out as well. And then just going through a lot of my old standards. Also, the Green Day album. That's right. I see it here. The new Green Day album. Father of All is really good. So I've been listening. Those are the main. Also, Michael Stipe. Yeah, Michael Stipe has a few new songs too that I've been listening to. So those are the main kind of albums that have been in my rotation lately. In terms of TV shows, which especially if you're doing like binge streaming, that can really be a really good time killer. Um, is I've been going through on CBS. I got a free month of CBS All Access streaming, so I've been going through the Star Trek Discovery episodes. They've got 2 seasons of Star Trek Discovery. I've been going through that. I couldn't get into the new Star Trek Picard for some reason. I started watching 2 episodes of that, and it seemed really kind of slow. And maybe that stems from the fact that Picard is supposed to be in his 90s now, so he's not. It's very introspective and kind of psychological. I just couldn't really get into it. The other thing on CBS streaming, though, that I really enjoyed a lot is the modern Twilight Zone, produced by Jordan Peele. And that Twilight Zone series is pretty awesome, especially the last episode. If you're a fan of Twilight Zone, I highly recommend that last episode. It's got kind of a twist ending that literally had me kind of cheering at the end. That was like totally awesome. So yeah, the new Twilight Zone by Jordan Peele on CBS streaming is, in my opinion, a must watch. Of course, I've also been watching movies a lot. Now, part of the reason for this also too is I haven't been working the last week because I've actually been on vacation. This is kind of a long story, but I was originally supposed to go to Disney World this week, or actually last week. Of course, Disney World got closed, so I wasn't able to go, but I still have the vacation, and I figured I might as well just do a staycation. So normally, in my normal everyday day job, I do work from home normally. So even though I'm at home, I don't have all this time to watch all this stuff and do all this catching up of streaming and all that. But this past week, I've been doing a lot more of that. Number one, because I've been staying home more than I usually do, and then number two, just because I haven't been working. So anyway, I've also went back and watched the 3 Austin Powers movies because I literally hadn't seen those in many, many years. And that was really a lot of fun. I had forgotten, though, that the 2 sequels, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and also Goldmember, are not nearly as good as the first one. They should have almost just stopped at that first one, because that first one is so funny and so good and so classic, whereas the other 2 are just kind of meh. Let's see what else. In terms of books, let's see. I've mostly read on the Kindle, but I've been reading. I've started to read, haven't finished. Let me look here. I can't remember the title here. There's been a couple. First of all, the audio, and this will tie into people who are audiophiles. I've been reading Paul McGowan's book, 99% True, which is kind of like his life story. For those that don't know, Paul McGowan is one of the co-founders of PS Audio. So I've been going through that book. It's actually kind of long, actually, so I'm not really through that one. And then let me see. I'm also reading. I'm just going through. I have to log into my Amazon here just to be able to remember the books that I have recently downloaded here. So let me go to my Amazon account. And then go to digital content, right? Your devices and content, and then manage digital content. It's going real slow here, probably because of the stream. Anyone have any questions? Go ahead and leave them, and I'll go back to the comments shortly here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Permanent Record by Edward Snowden. I forgot the title of it. So that's the Edward Snowden's recent book. I've also started that book. I kind of go between. Go between books a lot of times. Usually, I like to alternate between a fiction and a nonfiction, but in this case, I'm doing 2 nonfictions. I also did an audiobook of Paul McGowan's The Eat Diet. Where he talks about his diet, how he lost like 50 pounds in like a month or something like that. That was a pretty quick 40-minute audiobook. So that was kind of interesting to kind of learn. I don't know if I can really do that though. I think he's only doing like 200 calorie meals or something like that, which is really very little. But it's still good to kind of know this stuff. Anyway, let's go to the comments here. Looks like there's only about 10 people watching at this point, not very many. But yeah, how are you all doing in this stay-at-home stuff? Are you guys, staying safe and all that stuff? Any questions about anything? This is kind of just an open topic live chat, mainly just to check in with people and see how you're all doing. I don't, I haven't been doing a lot of audio reviews lately just because I honestly, frankly, haven't really been in the mood. I mean, I've been a little bit kind of like depressed lately and just sad, about the whole situation going on in the world. And, to do videos like that, you almost kind of have to be a little bit chipper and stuff. You don't want to do an audio review and just be all down, So, I don't know, I just haven't really been in the mood, I just haven't really felt motivated to do a lot of videos. So, it's just been that kind of thing where I kind of have to start limiting how much I look at the news. I was into a point where I was looking at the news almost constantly and just getting really depressed throughout the day. So now I only check the news maybe like once a day or something. I find that has tended to help quite a bit in terms of not getting all like down. Still keeping up with the news, but not, being obsessed about it, that part is what kind of gets me down. I mean, I try to maintain a positive outlook on everything. And, I know that I am very optimistic that we're going to get through this, but it's just really sad that, people are getting sick to the degree that they are. People are dying to the degree that they are. And really, frankly, I'm just praying for a vaccine, and that's really what we need. And I think once we have that, we're going to see massive growth, massive happiness, massive, I don't know what the word is, return to normal after that happens. I just don't know how long that's going to be. But I think that is going to be a really good thing when it does happen. One of the things I think on somebody's stream, I think it was John Mayer actually, he does these live video shows on Instagram. One of the things that he said about how one good way to deal with not getting too down or depressed about the situation is he had these diagrams of a circuit, like an audio circuit or an electrical circuit, and he used the parallel between the two circuits. One would be a parallel circuit, one would be a circuit that's in series. And the diagram is like that. You have a loop, which is a circuit. Okay, you got you start here and you go around, and then you end here, and that's like one electrical circuit. And you have things like capacitors and resistors in between in that circuit in line, and those like capacitors or resistors could represent like problems in your life. So one could be like COVID-19, another one could be like, I don't know, like your job maybe, or another one could be like relationships. So if it's like one loop and they're all in line, the COVID-19 would like kind of prevent the circuit from completely flowing like through in your life. However, if you have a parallel circuit, the circuits are actually in between. They're not in line in the loop, they're actually in between, kind of like this. I don't know if you can see, they're kind of like that. So that the circuit can still flow, but you still have problems, you still have like slowness, which would be like the COVID-19 or whatever, but the energy can still flow all the way through and you don't get completely bogged down. So that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it, and this is from my own sort of philosophy, is I've always had this philosophy of moats. Like a castle has a moat, which is, for those that don't know, a large body of water around the castle. And that prevents, if the castle is under attack, that prevents people from attacking the castle easily because they would just fall into the water. So anyway, if you can have that kind of analogy in your own life, as you have a wide moat psychologically in your brain, in your own mind, such that if something is attacking your mind or attacking your feelings, you kind of set aside a certain portion of your mind that is unaffected by any of those kind of attacks. So that's kind of your moat. So if you kind of psychologically set yourself up to say, this is not going to affect me, this part of my mind will not be affected by certain things, that can help quite a lot too. And of course, that can help for financial reasons too. Like people say you have an emergency fund. That can also be a moat too, so that if you have an emergency, maybe you lose your job or, your car gets totaled or whatever, you still have that big emergency fund to fall back on. But it also can work psychologically and emotionally too. So Hey everyone in the chat, I'll call you out. Thanks for joining the chat. Metal 571, R. Gibson, Chi-Town, California, Paul Whitaker, Jeff J, David Pylon, Anthony Berryman. Thanks for thanks for joining, and thanks for chatting. So let me see. David Pylon asked, do you plan to buy a new headphone? Right now I'm kind of not really planning on buying any new headphones at this time. I'm very happy with what I have. Certainly I'm always open to new headphones and things like that. And it's just kind of a wait and see kind of thing, but I don't have anything that I'm kind of pining for right now in terms of new headphones. For those that may not know, currently I'm using the Sony NDR Z1Rs, and I also use the AudioQuest Night Owl headphones as well. And then I've got the AirPods Pro as well too, that I use mostly for things like movies and podcasts and phone calls and things like that. And then also when I was traveling, I would use those on the airplane, and they worked out quite well. I was actually very impressed with them on an airplane. So I did take a trip about a month and a half ago, and I was able to use those. This was before all the COVID-19 stuff happened. And I actually really liked the AirPods Pro quite a bit for traveling. They were very convenient to take with me. They just fit in my jeans pocket, and then when I'm on the airplane, I can just put them in, and the audio noise canceling is really good on those. So definitely don't regret that purchase at all. Let's see here. Yeah, Jeff J says we have multiple vaccines in clinical trials now, but we're probably a year out from scale production. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it takes so long. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they can kind of like ramp up their speeds and stuff like that. But it's definitely kind of a scary time. Really hoping that a vaccine can get pushed out, or at least the curve can go down in terms of people being affected. It's a scary thing to have to, when you want to go. Well, it's a scary thing to not be able to go outside, number one. But when you do go outside, to have to worry about it. If you're just even going to walk around the neighborhood or something like that. I miss the days of just being able to go out and not have to worry about that kind of stuff. And I feel sorry for the people who do have to work, like people in grocery stores or kind of essential businesses. My heart really goes out to them, and I think we really do owe them a lot of gratitude, because they're having to work, and especially like the people in grocery stores, they're having to like on their regular shift, they're having to be exposed to tons of people in their regular shift, and that's kind of a scary thought. Like I wouldn't want to have to do that. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Like the people that we don't normally think about in everyday life when this stuff is not going on are the people that we really value, and we probably should actually be paying them a lot more. That's not only healthcare workers and people who work in, like doctors and nurses and stuff like that, but also the people that work in grocery stores and essential services like our post mail carriers, letter carriers, even the people that deliver our Amazon packages. They're out there right now being exposed and stuff like that, and not being able to stay in. So it's really interesting to kind of think about. Anyway. Matt Richardson asks, any changes in your surround sound components since you did a video a few years ago? No, I haven't really done much changes in terms of that. And honestly, I don't watch a lot of home theater these days. And when I do, I mostly use headphones, so I'm not blasting out my neighbors. I do put it on kind of low during the day, like, not use headphones. But when I want to watch a movie and really feel like the impact, I will then switch to headphones. And that's actually a good topic. What are the best headphones for home theater? I think the Sony Z1Rs do really well because they have really good bass. So if you're watching like an action movie, you can really feel that impact, like when there's bass or an explosion. So I do that sometimes. I just have a long headphone extension cable, and then I plug that into my AV receiver, and then I just put it on 2-channel. Make sure your AV receiver is set to 2-channel. And then you're pretty much good to go, in terms of listening to headphones with home theater. The only thing I did do is I got rid of my subwoofer. I had an HSU subwoofer, and I got rid of that because what ended up happening is, because I live in a condo, it actually ended up blasting out the neighbors and booming out the neighbors, and I don't want to be that neighbor, that does that. So what I did is I have tower speakers. My home theater speakers, my stereo home theater speakers are B&W speakers, and you've seen those in my other video. And so what I did is I set my AV receiver to do full range to those speakers. So I do still get a pretty good bass through those speakers. It's not super, super deep and low where you can feel that rumble, like below 50 hertz or whatever, but it's plenty fine for my home theater, the kind of home theater that I want to do. And then again, if I want to feel that rumble or hear that rumble more without bothering the neighbors, I would go to headphones. Excuse me. Chi-Town, California asks, any plans to buy another vintage watch? I'm always kind of on the lookout for vintage watches, especially like Rolex, but right now I don't really have anything that I have my eye on. I mean, if I were to buy one, I think right now the one that I would want to get would be the Rolex Explorer 2 with the white dial, but a vintage one. I think those are really cool. And kind of the sweet spot, I think, right now in terms of pricing. Other vintage ones that I would consider would maybe be the Explorer 1 even, too, as well. But I like the Explorer 2, the Polar one. They're kind of a lot better, I think, at this point. Let's see, any other questions here? Or anything? I'm just checking out the stream. Yeah, I think the stream is going okay. For those watching later, this was a live stream, so what will happen is after the stream is done, this will get put into my channel just as a video that people can then play back later. And so if you're watching this later, you can still comment if you want, and I will try to pay attention into the comments and respond there. Yeah, the Explorer 2, yeah, the 16570, yeah, that's a cool watch. I like that watch. I wonder what's going to happen in terms of watches with the economy the way it is right now and the COVID-19. I wonder if watches are come down in price. It's sort of hard to say because a lot of people that would normally invest their money in, say, like maybe the stock market would maybe now invest it in something like what Rolex watches or something like that. It's hard to say. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen the prices going down at all. There's a couple of things on eBay that I kind of subscribe to in terms of, how on eBay you can subscribe to certain saved searches. The prices have not gone down at all, like whatsoever, since this whole thing started. So Andreas asks, when are you getting the Empyrean? He thinks that headphone will be perfect for me. It might be. I've heard good things about it. I'm kind of a little bit leery about it because I don't know if you've seen my prior video where I talked about some reliability issues with Odyssey headphones. I am a little bit leery of planar dynamic headphones right now, actually, to be honest with you. And if I'm a little bit leery of getting the Empyreans because if those break, it would be kind of a pain in the butt to get them repaired, given that Meze is a company that's based out of Romania, and you're buying such an expensive headphone, if something would break on it or something would happen, I'm just a little bit leery about that. It is definitely true right now that traditional voice coil headphones are a lot more reliable and don't generally exhibit the reliability issues of planar dynamic headphones, although I have heard that Focal has had some reliability issues, and those are regular voice coil type headphones. They're not planar headphones. But I have heard sort of through the grapevine that Focal does have kind of a lot of reliability issues themselves. And they're in France, but I think they may have a USA, service center or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I like the sound of planar headphones. So in terms of planar headphones, I actually might consider lower priced planar headphones just because you're not putting yourself at so much risk if there would be a problem. And I have heard very good things about the monoprice headphones. Some of you in here may have actually reviewed those yourself. The monolith headphones, which are kind of like copies, not really copies, but kind of, I don't know, based on Odyssey headphones. But they're just made a lot cheaper and made in China and stuff like that. I've heard good things about those in terms of planar headphones. So maybe at some point I would want to check those out just to compare them with other headphones. Excuse me. My throat's sort of dry from talking so much. Any other questions or anything like that? I might do another. I might turn this doing like live streams. I might turn that into a regular thing, just if I get bored and stuff like that. Um, but I don't know that I will do them on a regular schedule or not. I might just do them impromptu, kind of like when I feel like them. Jeffrey says you might like the quad arrow ones. I think I heard those at a show, and yeah, I was pretty impressed with them. I heard them at the Rocky Mountain Audio Fest. I guess it was 2018, I believe. Let's see. Matt Richardson asks, "Are you still able to ride your boosted rev around where I live?" Yes, I think technically I can. I mean, I actually haven't in several weeks. Well, not several weeks, maybe like 3 weeks since all this stuff kind of really blew up. But yeah, I do kind of go for walks around my neighborhood, and I see people biking, so that's kind of equivalent to biking. I could probably just do that and ride it around. And actually, I was thinking about doing that within the next couple of days because I was just thinking, yeah, I haven't ridden it in a while. So yeah, I might do that and just get outside for a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, Jeff J says the Rolex Polar 2 Explorer with the patinted tritium dial are gorgeous and highly sought after. Yeah, that's really a very cool watch. I like that watch quite a bit. You've also seen my recent reviews of the Timex watches that I've done as well. I sold 2 of those. I sold the Snoopy one, the Marlin, and then I also sold the Timex M79 watch that I reviewed. I just pretty much got that into review and also just to check it out on my wrist. I still have the Q Timex watch though, the quartz one, and I like that one quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, John Rampoldi asks, "Are IEM headphones good for audiophile listening?" Yeah, I would say so. If you have, they do make audiophile headphones, yeah, IEMs. If you have good ones, for IEMs, the Sony, I think they're the Z1s. Sony has the equivalent to the Z1Rs for IEMs, but I think they're the I don't know if they're the Z1R or the Z1s, but those are supposed to be very good headphones for IEMs. I generally don't like IEMs for audiophile headphones, and mainly because I don't like things in my ear. The only reason I got the AirPods Pro is mainly for traveling and for noise cancellation, just to have something that has noise cancellation in a small package. But I don't listen to those like constantly or listen to those a lot just because I don't normally typically like having things in my ear. So just when I'm at home and stuff like that, just for default, I like things over the ear versus in ear. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, Chi-Town, California, the Oyster Perpetual is kind of nice. I actually like the gray dial, the kind of charcoal dial on that, the sort of new one. That one's kind of cool. In terms of modern Rolexes, I kind of like the Daytona. It's a bit above my price point in terms of budget, but I like the white Daytona quite a bit. That's really a cool watch. I'd love to have that watch. And I actually surprisingly kind of like the Milgauss too, the green one, the blue dial. It's kind of got a green crystal, but the blue dial Milgauss. That's kind of a watch that people love to hate. People either love it or hate it. And I kind of go back and forth. Actually, I kind of look at it sometimes and go, it's kind of ugly. But on the other hand, it's kind of cool in a way too because it's very different. And a lot of people tend to like watches that aren't really like, they kind of go under the radar that a lot of other people don't like. Another one is the Tudor P01. That watch is kind of ugly, but it's actually selling really well, and people are buying it and collecting it because of that reason. Because it's like kind of a watch that people look at and go, most people wouldn't want to wear that, but it's kind of unique and interesting. So I'm kind of on the fence about that watch, but that's kind of an interesting watch. Let's see. Matt Richardson asked, "Do you consider it a good time to buy stocks?" Yeah, I would say if you have money set aside to buy, I think now would be a good time. I mean, it's definitely at a low right now. So yeah, I think now would be definitely a good time if you've been eyeing certain stocks, to get in. I would not sell, of course. Now is not a good time to sell. I think that's kind of the wrong thing to do because you don't want to sell at the bottom. And then you don't want to sell at a low. I don't know if we're at the bottom, but you don't want to sell at a low. And then what happens is you sell now and then you've lost money, probably. And then you also don't know when to get back in. When things start going back up, you just don't know when is that point where you buy back in. So that becomes kind of a conundrum. Anthony Berryman says, yes, IEMs are audiophile. He has the 64 Audio A18Ts, fantastic IEMs. Yeah, IEMs can sound really, really good. There's no doubt about it. They can definitely be audiophile. It's just a matter of whether or not you're comfortable having something in your ear like that, and I'm pretty much not. I have nothing against them other than that. It's just that for audiophile purposes and when I'm at home, I just much prefer the over-the-ears. To me, they're just a lot more comfortable. And comfort, speaking of comfort, for me now, weight is a big, big factor in headphone choice. That's one of the also reasons why I don't like the Odysseys anymore. They just tend to be a bit too heavy. I think anything over about 500 or 550 grams is just too heavy. So now that's a big consideration for me these days, is in terms of weight, because I really noticed that. So both my Sony Z1R over-ears and my AudioQuest Night Owls are both pretty light and comfortable headphones. So, I put them on and they're just very comfortable to wear. So especially for longer periods of time, if you're listening to something more than about 45 minutes, weight does become a big, big factor. Let's see. Have you, Chi-Town, California asks, have I listened to the Beyerdynamic T1.2s? No, I have not. I'm not familiar with those at all. So I can't really comment on those, unfortunately. All right, so we've been chatting for over half an hour now. I think I'll probably wrap it up pretty soon. But if you have more questions or comments, please leave them. I will give a chance for people to leave some more comments and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll probably wrap it up. And yeah, stay subscribed. I will probably be doing more live chats like this, and maybe I will even do some where maybe I'll try to schedule, see how that works, and I'll try to do some where we have a particular topic where we talk about certain things. This was just sort of a mishmash of stuff, but maybe I'll do some on different topics. And leave a comment if you're watching this later about what topics you might want to see for future videos. It could be anything from Apple products to headphones to audio to cool albums, maybe audiophile albums. These are just things off the top of my head. To just open other topics too as well. Yeah, everyone stay healthy, stay safe. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to, like to get food or groceries or something like that. I'm still hearing, at least here in the Bay Area, stories of people that are still like getting together and having parties and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry, that's just really stupid. A lot of these, I think, for lack of a better word, millennials are the ones doing it. They're getting together and still, like, my sister just posted yesterday on her Facebook that in her neighborhood, she heard someone was having a big party, like with music and everything last night. That's just stupid. I mean, even if you don't care if you yourself get sick, like if you think you're young, you have a really good immunity or really good metabolism and you'll get through it or whatever, think about the fact that you could get others sick, think about the fact that you could get your grandma sick, and she could potentially get very, very sick and may not even make it through, because it is a disease, it is a virus that is very, very contagious. So think about that before you want to get together and, have a party and stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you live with people, that's fine. Like if you have roommates, that's fine. You can party together in your own house. But if you're all of a sudden getting together with people that live in another household, you don't know where those people have been. You don't know their exposure. And then all of a sudden, it's just going to spread exponentially that way. So stay home, wash your hands really often, stay in unless you absolutely have to go out. All right, guys, see you later, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, stay healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.